guys on the whole have pretty good special teams numbers in total, but there seems to be one thing that pops up every week. How frustrating is that as a special teams coach?
It's very, very frustrating. You know, we're working hard at it, and we're producing. We're doing some really good things in a lot of areas. But there are, each week you're like, man, we got to get this cleaned up or that cleaned up, and so hopefully we're moving in the right direction.
How tough is that task? It kind of feels like it's whack-a-mole. You fix one thing one week and something else pops up that maybe you didn't expect.
I tell you, I think about the ODU game. Probably one of the more disappointing plays we've had this year. We had the field goal blocked, and what I really came away from that game encouraged by was we fixed it within the game and then knocked down 3 field goals. And that really said a lot about our guys in protection, said a lot about our operation with Epling and Pete, and of course John knocking them down. But obviously you're looking to make 4 out of 4, and so they understand that. I mean, they understand that we got to be better, and we don't need to put ourselves in that position. So we're working.
With Lane last week, do you consider that kind of the exception to the rule with him? I mean, it seems like he's been able to handle things in traffic and make something enough of the time.
Yeah, I think he's 6th in the country in punt return yardage. I think he's one of 19 that's had a touchdown to this part of this early in the season. He's a playmaker, as everybody can see. I feel like in special teams a lot of times, the officials are involved quite a bit, and for whatever reason, and you really want that call to go your way on the field. When it went our way on the field, then I was like, okay, there's a chance, and a lot of times there's not enough to overturn, but obviously they felt like there was. It was a tough break for our team and a tough break for Jalen, but he did come back and have a big return that sparked us in the fourth quarter, and so it was nice to see him bounce back, and he got some nice blocking from the guys out there with him.
Is that one of those where it's sort of a question of whether he's down by the wrist, or like how do you find that?
One thing we practice with ball security all the time is you're down with your forearm or your wrist, but not your hand, and then that was the back of his hand, but you can't. We say it all the time. Don't leave it up to the officials. Don't leave it up to them. They're going to break your heart, and so we got to secure the football. He knows that. We all, everyone on this team understands that when you carry the football, then you're carrying a large responsibility of our success.
You mentioned the field goal block. The Coach Pride mentioned, I believe it was during the game or after, or Tuesday after, it looked like it might have been illegal with the way they were jumping it.
Yeah.
What did you see on film? Was it a legal block, or was there something where they were jumping over and not giving it to Christian the second?
Well, one thing about the non-conference games, you don't always have officials from your conference, so different conferences see things different ways. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. In that particular game with that particular technique, nothing was called, and so you got to make the adjustment and you got to fix it. And so whether it was or wasn't, it's all subjective. And we as I mentioned earlier, I mean, we made the fix and knocked down 3 after that, and so that's what you got to live with.
It looked like against Rutgers that they were doing the same thing Marshall did, bringing the gunner in close.
A little bit different.
Lovett recognized it.
Waved
it. I mean, is that encouraging that he recognizes that and you guys adjusted?
Yeah, the one I'm least, that I was least upset about. I was very upset that we gave up the block against Marshall. However, what they did was a huge gamble. It really kind of spoke to, in my opinion, they were desperate because they didn't have a lot going on offensively or defensively. To leave a guy that's eligible, to leave him completely uncovered, is just something that most people don't do. Now, credit to them, they gambled and it worked out for them. Now, the Rutgers deal was different because when they did something similar. However, if you look at it, there's a guy behind the guy they brought down because Dante's eligible, you know, and that's the difference, and that, you know, that was the key difference in those plays. So, you know, it's one of those things that, like I said, they gambled on it. It worked out for them. Fortunately, it happened in a win, and we could learn from it. I was very excited about how Dante and Will Panay. Will Panay is the guy that runs those checks and gets us lined up and gets the ball snapped before the shot clock runs out. He did a wonderful job in that rep you're referring to against Rutgers. You know, Rutgers in let's see, let me get my years right. 2022 led the country in punt blocks. 23, I believe they had 3. It was a big challenge for us, and it took a lot of communication and a lot of hard work from our players. Our players did a wonderful job.
We've heard you mentioned Panay, so I'm now curious. We've heard from guys like JC talking about just how Panay's come along in the defensive line room.
Right.
As a leader on special teams, what has his development been like, and him kind of calling out that stuff? What's that like for him?
His biggest development is getting him to enunciate his English. He's probably one of the smarter guys we have on the team. I don't know how many guys we have that know 2 languages, but he, you know, just getting him comfortable in communicating to everyone, which he's done a really nice job with that. He's taken ownership of that role. That's a big role in our on our pride team, on our punt team. You know, he has a lot of pride himself in doing well, and it means a lot to him. He's a conscientious guy. So, you know, I'm really encouraged by how hard he's worked. And it's not just, you know, he's been the backup for 2 seasons, so he's taken a ton of reps in 22 and 23, and now he's out there doing it. So that's very encouraging.
I think Brian mentioned on Monday on kickoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily returners, not the reason you guys haven't broken one yet. Some
Kickoff
blocking.
return?
Yeah, some blocking.
You know,
to clean up, open something up.
I usually wait till after week 4. I don't really look at the national stats until after week 4. You know, you want to get a good sample size. I believe we're 41st in the country right now in kickoff return. You know, which is, you want to be, you know, I always kind of think, man, if you're in the top 25 in whatever you're doing, then you're moving in the right direction. It's gonna move up. That's going to happen. There's a lot that goes into the kickoff return. Like Coach said, it's not just the returner. We've got some very capable returners back there, and then you've just got to get. You have to get game experience. If you're one of the hardest jobs on kickoff return is being a frontline guy that has to line up 11 yards from where the ball's kicked. They get a running start. You don't. You've got to sprint, whatever it is, 25, 30 yards to your spot at the correct angle, turn your body around, have enough strength to make a block. There's guys that are really, really good at it, but there's very few guys that I've seen over the years that are good at it right off the bat. And it just takes a little bit of time. And we're working hard on it. They're giving great effort, and we'll continue to get better with it.
Yeah, how do you feel about PJ and Thomas?
Well, you know, I felt good about PJ since we got here. PJ's shown up and done a lot of things on special teams since we got here. You saw him in the spring with the ball in his hands, outrunning our defense and making plays on offense. Excuse me. He's got ball skills. He's got vision. He's strong. So, you know, I like PJ back there. And Thomas, if you ever watched Thomas's high school film, he was very accomplished as a running back. So he's got ability. It just takes some reps. You know, we got to get those guys out there and let them, you know, like I said, we're not terrible there. It took a little while with Bayshaw. You know, if you go back and look last year, it took a little bit to get it going when he was back there. So, you know, we'll get there. You know, but I like those guys.
I'm curious, former.
Golly, man, I hope you can edit this.
I mean, you were once the running back coach when Bayshall came here.
Right.
To see him kind of I mean, 3 straight 100-yard games. To see him kind of have the success he's having, I know it's probably a little bit of a bummer to take him off kick return because he's so explosive. But I mean, what have you seen about just the way he's been able to run so effectively this year?
When we decided to go in the portal for a running back, and we were evaluating, I mean, gosh, we must have evaluated 50 guys. And the thing that, there was a couple things. He was coached at North Carolina A&T by a guy that had played for us, for Coach Prime, myself at Western Carolina, a guy named Lamont Seward. And so we knew we could trust, Lamont's evaluation, his opinion. Bayshaw, I don't know that I've ever seen a guy that has contact balance like he does. He can be out of position. He can be, a guy can get a shot on him that he's not expecting, and it just doesn't faze him a lot of times. He's very talented in that way, and so we were fortunate to recruit him and to get him here, and he is proven to be what we thought he'd be. It's been outstanding. I've really enjoyed watching him play, and he's a guy you can count on. I love his toughness.